His party won over people being pissed off at culture war issues and dumb shit like that. Then they started claiming that education was actually indoctrinating children to hate the country. Then they started making scapegoats and complaining that every minority in the country was actually the problem. Then they started banning books in schools and burning books. Then he committed an insurrection at the Capitol. He was found guilty of some of his crimes at least and was labeled a convicted felon. Then he got elected leader of the country, filled his cabinet with rich Christian oligarchs, all the while saying that the leader and those rich oligarchs are the only ones you can truly trust. Everybody else is an enemy within. He also ended birthright citizenship, and then they started getting great ideas of mass deportations or rounding up people to put into camps awaiting that deportation. No, I'm not talking about Trump and the Republicans. I'm talking about this guy. But some of you probably already knew that. He incited an insurrection in 1923 and was given a slap on the wrist for it, becoming a convicted felon and saying the whole system was corrupt. He started rallying against the elites and calling himself a man of the common people, labeling everyone who opposed him as a communist or a Marxist. Does that sound familiar? Said he would return his country to greatness. Started exploiting the us versus them narrative, which Russia has greatly helped Trump with. He appointed oligarchs as his advisors, proceeded to privatize government-run utilities, solidifying support of the economic elite. The same elite that he said he was rallying against. They shut down unions and abolished strikes, which is exactly what Trump said he's going to do. Corporate profits skyrocketed while the working class people lived paycheck to paycheck. Remember this for the number of times I've pointed out that Trump is once again going to give a massive tax break to the billionaires while raising taxes on us. He became a billionaire while in office, and he and his oligarchs kept the people distracted by constantly claiming about the enemy from within who was actually to blame. He removed birthright citizenship and said that Jews were in the country illegally. He dismantled democratic institutions, demanded loyalty above all else, and anyone who questioned him was labeled the enemy or a Marxist. They then banned and burned all books that they considered, by modern standards, to be woke. And that was when the LGBTQ, who started thriving in the 1920s, started being rounded up. You can read right here, of course, what happened to most of them. We're supposed to be learning from history, not repeating it. Yet the comparisons between these two people are absolutely fucking staggering. And his party is acting the exact same way they did. Exactly the same way. So maybe let's try to learn from this, before this horrible nightmare becomes a sequel.